I love this. Okay, I'm going to invite our some of our students on here. We have 6. We have Matt.
Batman.
Katie. We have
Hello, citizens.
We have Spencer and Gary.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hey, everybody.
I think we've got, let's see here,
4.
5.
Hey.
All right.
Is my sound working?
You
Yep.
guys have some questions? Anything you'd like to ask? I'll be happy to answer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Matthew, you want to go first?
Yeah. I was going to electronically raise my hand. I read somewhere that you auditioned for the lead role in The Graduate. Was that true?
Yes. Well, let me tell you the story about that. I was doing Batman, and this was, you see, when you film, traditionally you have a certain amount of time you film and a certain time you have off between seasons. It's called a hiatus. That's your period of time off. So I was working at 20th Century Fox doing Batman, and a young producer named Larry Turman came to the set. And he said, "Hi, I'm Larry Turman. I'm a producer. I've got a small movie over here at Fox, and I'd like you to be in it." And I said, "Oh, I'd love to do it." So, and I figured I would be able to do it, right? Because this is the same studio. It's not like some competing studio that, you know, that my studio would say, "No, I don't want him to work for another studio. We have him under contract." This is with the same studio, and it's during a hiatus time. There should have been no problem. And in fact, the studio had no objection. However, ABC Network, who aired our show, heard about it and said, no. Batman is too big. This is making us the number. We were a syndicated network. We're now becoming the 3rd network in the United States. We don't want any dilution of this character of that he plays as Robin. We want total association with that. So he cannot do this. We will not allow him to do this. And so Fox came back to me and said, "Geez, Burt, I'm terribly sorry. You can't do it." Well, that movie turned out to be The Graduate. And when they couldn't get me, they got a guy named Dustin Hoffman to play the role.
Right. Oh my God.
True story.
Wow.
So
There
yeah,
is
as much as I got the part of Robin, you know, which was fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But there's other times you don't get things. You know, you win some, you lose some. And you know what I tell everybody? Just remember, the first 100 years are the hardest. After that, it's pretty smooth sailing.
Oh my God.
I like that.
Dustin Hoffman's makeup artist is my next door neighbor.
Well, I met Dustin in Malibu. I was living in Malibu Beach, Malibu, California, and I met him. A very nice man, very talented man. And but you know, looking back, I never thought to tell him that story. And it's probably better that I didn't, because you know, nobody would like to think that they were selected after somebody else couldn't do it. Right?
That's true.
Spencer, how about you?
Do you know how many holy words you've said in the Batman series?
You know, I've heard, because I didn't count them, I heard there was like 380 some odd.
Wow.
But if you count the Batman movie, when you add the movie in, that put it over 400. Do you have an answer for me?
Wow. Yeah, it's 352 holies.
There you
That's a
go.
lot of holies.
You're that's right. I was very and
Holy
you know,
me the biz, Batman.
there you go. Boy, you got my lines there. You're doing it. It's great.
Yes, Bill.
Yeah, I remember when a giant clam trying to eat you.
Yes. Yeah, trying to make me into clam chowder. No, I remember that. And you know, and they said, "Well, now we got a scene here, Burt, where you're in this giant clam, you know, and
Wow,
and
cool.
Batman's got to rescue you." And I said, "Well, how are you going to do that?" "Well, we built a giant clam." You built
Wow,
a
and I have a
clam?
second question for you.
All right, but
What
wait a minute.
was
So
your favorite scene?
wait a minute. Let me finish about the clam. So I got into this clam, and I'll tell you something. When they closed that clam down and the only thing was sticking out was my leg, my right ankle,
Wow.
my foot.
Cool.
You talk
Cool.
about claustrophobia. Then let me tell
Yeah.
you something. That was one of these really uncomfortable things where you, oh my gosh, you know, and you know, the crazy thing is there are giant clams for real.
Wow.
Really are
Pretty
giant
cool.
clams, but rarely does anybody get caught in one.
Yeah.
And my second question
Uh-huh.
is, what was your favorite scene?
You know, I did 120 episodes. That's a lot of different shows, 120, and worked with all these different celebrities. To be honest with you, I didn't have a single favorite. And because Batman was actually kind of a dangerous show, in today's world, they're more careful with the actors, I think, than they were then, because in the first week of filming, of the first 6 days of filming, I went to the emergency hospital 4 times from second-degree burns.
Wow.
I had a broken nose
Wow.
when a 2x4 landed on my nose and broke my nose. I mean, it was, you know, and it's so funny because I kept running into the same physician at the emergency clinic. And he, after the 4th day, he said, you know, you might consider a different line of work. Maybe you're just accident
Wow.
prone. I said, no, I've never been to an emergency hospital my whole life.
Your own stunts, right?
Well, I didn't want to. I'll give you a quick example for your guys. Let me tell you, the first day of filming, this is the day number 1, and it's the first shot. You couldn't have anything before that. This is the first shot, the first day. It's up in Hollywood Hills. It's called Bronson Canyon. It's where they had the famous Bat Cave, where the Batmobile comes out of the cave, and the sign goes down, and we speed off to Gotham City, and the sign comes up and says Gotham City 14 miles or something like that, right? So they said, all right, this is 7 in the morning, okay, and I'm in this incredible costume that is not comfortable, and I got makeup all over my face, and they said, now, Burt, you got to go into the cave, and the Batmobile is in the cave. And when you get to the Batmobile, just get in the Batmobile, and we're going to have you drive out. We're going to just have you drive out. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Just drive out. So I go into the cave, and when you get in there, it's dark. It's very dark. Can't see. And I'm kind of like, you know, until my eyes get adjusted. And then I kind of got a hold of the car, and I got in the car, and I sensed somebody else was there, and I looked over, and I thought it was Adam. And I said, Adam? And he said, no, I'm Hubie. And I said, oh, well, where's Adam? Oh, he's not here. I said, well, why are you here? He said, well, I'm a stunt man, and the studio hired me because this is a very dangerous stunt, and they don't want to take a chance of Adam West getting hurt. I said, well, that's a good thing. They don't want him to get hurt. Well, where is he? He said, well, I think he's over having coffee. I said, oh, well, that's nice. And I'm sitting there and saying, it's dangerous? He said, oh, very dangerous. I said, you like doing this? Oh, I love it. He says, the more broken bones I get, the more money I get. I said, oh, okay. Well, I guess there's some positiveness to that. And then I said, gee, do you think do I have a stunt man? Oh, yeah, you do. Oh, well, that's great. Well, where is he? Oh, I think he's having coffee with Adam West. Well, wait a minute. And then I hear him say, roll it up, get ready to film. And I say, whoa, wait, stop. There's a terrible mistake here. And the second unit director, his name was Ruben, comes running up. Burt, what's the problem? Well, this man tells me that this is a dangerous stunt. Yeah, we all know that. Well, yeah, but he also tells me that I've got a stunt man and he's having coffee with Adam West. Yeah, so what? Well, why isn't he here instead of me? Why am I here going to do this dangerous stunt if I have a stunt man? Oh, well, we can't use him. Oh, okay, you can't use him, huh? Why not? Well, he doesn't look like you. Well, wait a minute. Why would you hire him if he doesn't look like me? Couldn't find anybody else. Oh, so you got to do it, Burt. I said, well, I don't know. I mean, I've never done a stunt before. Well, don't worry. Just hold on for dear life and you'll be fine. So he goes out and I look around and I see to myself, well, where's my seatbelt? Oh, no seatbelts. What about a door handle? Nope, no door handle to hold on to. What am I going to hold on to? They have this little 1/4 inch plastic windshield. It looks like a windshield. It just plastic like this. You could move it like that. So that's what I got to hold on to. And I said, are we coming out fast? He said, yeah, about 55 miles an hour. We're going to go straight for the camera and we're going to make a sharp left turn. I have to skid the back of the tires around and then drive off in the other direction. He says, so you better hold on tight. Well, yeah, but I got nothing to hold on to that's substantial. He said, well, I can't help that. That's my job. I got to do it. So out we come at 55 miles an hour, right at the camera. The stuntman, what he did was perfect. But when he made that sharp left turn, unexpectedly, my door flew open.
Oh,
And when my door flew open, the man on the camera truck, you know, he's got, it's kind of like a little truck. It's not a big truck. It's a little kind of a raised thing with wheels. And he's got on there with a big camera and he's on there with another guy standing next to him. And the door knocked them both over onto the ground. I was thrown towards the opening because of the centrifugal force. I was thrown and I threw my arm behind me, just kind of like, you know, just kind of a reaction. And unbelievably, I wrapped my little finger around the gear shift. Okay. I mean, you could have tried 100 times and you wouldn't get it, but it just happened. And it kept me from falling out and really getting hurt, but it pulled my finger out of joint. Just imagine your finger is no longer in joint and it's incredibly painful. So all of a sudden now there's dust everywhere. The cars stop, people are running over, you know, so much dust from because on dirt that you can't see very well. And they say, Burt, are you okay? And I said, yes, but my hand is killing me. Now remember, I'm wearing a glove. Okay. But even through the glove, you can see the glove now has swollen up twice the size. And so, oh, Burt, we got to get you to the hospital. Your finger's pulled out of joint, and that's incredibly painful. I said, I know it's killing me. So they helped me out of the car, and I said, okay, well, where is the car going to take me to the hospital? Oh, we can't take you to the hospital now. Well, what do you mean? We didn't get the shot. Oh, we got all these people here. It costs us $30,000 every 15 minutes. We got to get the shot first. That was 7:30 in the morning. I left for the hospital at 12 noon. Whoa. After having done the shot 3 more times.
Oh, and that was the first day?
That's the first day.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there was the next day, another problem, jumping out of a burning car. We knew a car would be burning. I'm down in the bottom. The Frank Gorshin, the Riddler, is above me. So I'm down in a car that is burning with somebody on top of you, which is your body is blocking the only way out. So I had to wait till he comes out on action. He climbs out and jumps down. I'm supposed to climb out and jump down. But what happened was when I got up and out of the car, ready to jump down, unexpectedly, the car blew up. And when it blew up, all I can remember is seeing the ground coming at my face, like 1,000 miles an hour coming at my face. Boom, right into the ground. And 2nd-degree burns on the back of my neck.
Ouch, that was
day 2. Day 3. Day 3, you think that's bad. Day 3, okay, I'm tied down on a table and Batman is supposed to rescue Robin through a subway. It's supposed to be in a subway and he has an explosion. He's supposed to blow a wall through the wall of the subway. Now, they not supposed to have real walls. They have what's called breakaway walls. It's like balsa wood. It is just, you know, you could just break it in your finger. It's very light, but it looks real and you can paint it to look real. And they use a small charge. It's a small mercury charge and it has a lot of sound. It's a big sound and a big bang, but you know, it's not like dynamite. Well, when that went off, nothing happened. And it turns out that the studio did not make a breakaway wall. They built a real wall, like they were building a house. They forgot to do it. There's no time to go in 2 more weeks to rebuild and decorate this set. So what are you going to do? Because now this is a major part of the show. So the special effects guys come in with 2 half sticks of dynamite and nearly blew the entire soundstage down. Wow. You gotta understand, I'm tied down with my head up like this, my arms tied at my sides. I can't do anything. I could move my head, that's it. And when that explosion, it blew a 2x4 up that came down and landed on my nose, broke my nose.
Oh,
Then
Oh.
that's the third day. And then there was another day. But the point of it was, I didn't think I was going to survive the first episode. And the studio, you know what the studio did? They're very smart. They went out and took a huge multi-million dollar life insurance policy on me. And when it came to the third season, just before the show ended, I could swear they were trying to collect on that policy.
oh my God.
So you see all the glamour of making the movies, how much fun that can be?
Katie, how about you?
Wow.
I know.
Well, first, thank you for stopping by and talking to us. We really appreciate it. And I love you as Robin, but I also want to talk about your dogs. And I know that you and your wife, Tracy, have a dog rescue for large dogs.
And small dogs now. We have all breeds, 45 different breeds.
Wow. Yes. And you've developed your own dog food, and you help people to learn how to, care for their dogs and feed their
Exactly.
dogs so they'll live longer. And by the way, check them out at gentlegiantsdogfood.com.
Very
Um,
good.
Tell us a little bit about why you started that and why large dogs as well.
Well, okay. First of all, I want to show you something. I'm going to show you one of our dogs. One of our dogs. Hold on here.
It's dog time here. It is.
Hey, you want to get mine?
It's dog time. Oh, yeah.
Now,
Love
this
it.
is Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell
Beautiful
is
dog.
just turning 25 years old.
Wow.
Really?
25. Yep, she's right
Wow.
there. She's just 24 and 3/4. She's going to be 25 soon. And she is the most loving little dog. But we have dogs living 2 and 3 times. And once in a while, we even had one live 4 times their normal lifespan because we know how to care for them properly. We know how to feed them properly. And we make a special food that is unlike any other dog food. So people say to me, how could you really have a dog that lived in their 20s? Well, here's one right here. We got all her medical records. She's the real thing.
Come here.
Tinkerbell.
Listen.
Can you see her?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Okay,
sweet.
I can.
very cute.
Tink. There's Tink. There she is.
Oh, there she is, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, pretty dog.
Very, very sweet.
well,
I'm going to put her back. She's a little camera shy here. So, but here's how we got involved. Here's how we got involved. My wife and I were living right near the beach, just 1 block from the beach, and we had a beautiful home, but the property by the beach is so valuable that if you have property there, it's usually just a littlest tiny property, and you have big tall buildings on a little property because the land is so valuable. So we had a 4-story house with all these balconies. And then when we had our daughter together, I mean, you're like up 50 feet high with balconies, and you don't want a child going out on the balcony like that. And plus it wasn't ideal because where we lived, there was people riding down to the beach and they're flying over the kind of like a rolling hill, and their cars are landing on the ground, racing to the beach in front of our house. It wasn't ideal for raising a child. So we thought, why don't we move inland, maybe get a little bit more land? We only had like 5 feet around 3 sides of our house and 15 feet in the front. So we found a wonderful place about an hour east of Los Angeles. We have 5 acres in the heart of the city, which that's a lot of property in the heart of a major city. And we live in a horse town, where horses have the right of way over cars. Oh, look at that doggy. There you got a beautiful one.
Thank you.
So we moved here and we thought, would it be a nice thing? We're raising your child to get your child a dog, I mean, kids like dogs, and dogs love everybody, right? I mean, they love you unconditionally. So my wife, Tracy, had grown up with Irish Wolfhounds, and I always wanted to have a Great Dane. And one thing led to another when we started to rescue. And when we started to rescue and we found out that the ones that we didn't take were being put to sleep, that's when I was explaining that, oh, we can't let them die. And I just thought it would only be a couple of weeks, but it's been 27 years. I mean, my wife keeps telling me, you told me 2 weeks. I said, well, I mean, you can't, I said, 27 years, you can't do things overnight, right? So 27 years is a long time. So, but we actually love it, and we love the dogs, and just listen, you don't hear any noise, do you? I have 50 dogs in my house. Everyone is trained not to bark unless they sense danger.
Holy cow.
And they're very loving and gentle, and they all get along. Everybody is nurturing. You have big dogs and little dogs and, young dogs and old dogs, and everybody lives as a family communally together. And it's I got to tell you something. I have 2 wonderful human children, and I've had almost 16,000 canine kids here, all right? And I love my human children, but I do have one thing I want to say about dogs, okay? And that is, in 27 years and 16,000 dogs, not one of these dogs has ever asked me to buy them a car.
I have a follow-up question.
Sure.
Okay, with that many dogs, that is a lot of dog poop.
That's right.
So
We have professional pooper
master
scoopers.
program.
We have pooper scoopers. We have professional pooper
Scoopers.
scoopers. Yeah, we don't have the little ones. We have the big ones. And we feed 600 pounds of our dog food every day. So if you've ever seen these big bags of dog food, usually they're about 30 pounds. We feed 20 of those every single day. So you got 600 pounds coming in and 600 pounds going out. And we have a special dumpster, big dumpster. Everything is double bagged and put up at the street and out of the way. And we've been doing this for 27 years, and it really does work well, and we love the dogs, and we've adopted like almost 16,000. I mean, just think, every one of those dogs wouldn't have had life if we hadn't been there to save them. So, and think of all the happiness it brought the people. And I try to explain to people, because some people say to me, they say, you and your wife, you're just so into dogs. Why don't you do something for people? And I said, wait a minute here. If I help you keep your dog living an extra 5 or 10 years, don't you think I've done something for you? Because now you have your best friend. And they go, oh yeah, well, I never thought of it like that. But we all can contribute. And we have a new company called Superheroes to the Rescue.
Wow.
We believe that every person on earth can be a superhero by making a little effort to do whatever they can to make life better for someone else, or for an animal, or taking a blanket to a shelter, or just making somebody more comfortable. You can do it. We can all be superheroes. And every year we have these awards. And I want to tell you, last year was our first year. And I want to tell you of an award we handed out for us, what we call a superhero to the rescue. There's a young man who is a pilot, and he rents a single engine airplane. He's not wealthy, just got a regular day job, but he spends all of his money doing charity. And he loves Batman. He dresses up as Batman.
Wow.
His dog is dressed up as Robin. He contacts animal shelters where they're going to kill the dogs or the cats. And then he finds them in other states that can take that one type of breed in another state. And he gets them, and he flies. He takes his last dollars to get to the airport and fly to pick up this dog who they drive out to the airport to meet him. He lands. They put the cages in his little plane, and he flies to the next city so the dogs don't have to die.
That is a hero.
Wonderful. That is a superhero to the rest.
For sure.
Wow. I was going to save this to the end, but since you mentioned anybody can be a superhero, I want to show you my homemade Batman cowl, which is dedicated to your friend Adam West.
Wow.
Very nice. Yeah,
That's
Adam
it.
was a dear friend of mine. You know, we had such a good time together. Part of the reason I think Batman was so successful is he and I had a chemistry. You know, it's interesting. Most actors are directed by directors, meaning you have a scene and you're supposed to say something, and the director says, well, say it like this. And if you can say that like this, and then you do this and you do that. We didn't have that on Batman. Now, what we had was they would say, Burt, you and Adam are in front of the Bat computers and you have this dialogue. Or Burt and Adam, you're in the Batmobile getting ready to leave, or you're this or that. But they never told us how to ever say our lines. And I'll tell you something, Adam and I had such a natural chemistry that no matter what he did, I reacted in balance to it. You see what I mean? And remember, for adults, this was nostalgia and comedy. For teenagers, and I mean, for the college kids and teenagers, it was the campy style. But for children, it was hero worship. I mean, wow, what kid wouldn't want to ride in the Batmobile, climb walls, fight villains,
Wow.
right there with
Yeah.
Batman, right? And
I
save
would
people's
love
lives. It was like a wonderful fantasy. So we Adam and I had this natural chemistry. It's one of those things that, you know, very few people have, but it was natural. And all of the great actors who have done comedy, and honestly, comedy is harder to do than drama. Everybody can be serious. There's a million bad things that go on in this world that you have to deal with, but to make people laugh, to make people feel warm inside, it takes a special effort. And we had this chemistry. And if you think about it, all the great comic duos in history have had great contrast. Like, and I don't know if any of you have ever seen, there was a comic duo called Laurel and Hardy. Old shows. Hardy was big and heavy, Laurel was skinny, and one was domineering and one was meek, but they're great opposites. You know, Abbott and Costello, one tall, one little. You know,
Well, there is one comedy duo that reminded me of you and Adam West.
who's
And
that?
that was Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
There you go. Yeah, that's true too. They had a great thing. You know, and so this, and well, even Ed McMahon and Johnny Carson, those were a duo. You know, so but what works is the contrast, the difference between, like, Batman is very stoic and very, you know, grand, and, you know, he kind of like, you know, like a foreign dignitary, or, you know, right? And whereas Robin is like, yeah, let's go do it. Let's, you know, and, you know, Robin, you know, and like, I think of scenes that were so funny and yet kids took seriously. Let me give you a typical scene. We're outside, we're maybe in the city, and we're trying to break up a robbery or something bad, and we're chasing the villains, right? And they're running down like this sidewalk, and we're chasing after they cross the street, and I start to run into the street. Oh, no, Robin, no, we must use the crosswalk. Got to use the crosswalk. That you lose all this time because you're going in the wrong direction, and it slows you down, right? Or like we stop and we stop and we come up to a place and we get out at the Batmobile to run. He said, "Wait a minute, Robin, I have to put money in the meter. You know, we have to stay with the city's laws." Okay, so put the nickel in the meter. And it was that kind of wonderful comedy that made this so warm and loving for everyone.
Yeah. Well, how about we have two more? We have Gary and Robert.
Okay.
Okay, am I next?
You're next.
Okay, thank you, David. Yes, great to see you. My question is, who was your favorite Bat Climb window cameo? And the second part of my question would be, did you and Adam know beforehand who it was going to be before you read for the scene?
Well, are you talking about after we had the roles reading? I mean, are you talking about, did we know who the villain was going to be each week?
No.
No, I think he's talking about when you were doing the climbs on the
The
side of the
climb
building and the
Yeah.
people that would
Yes.
pop.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we knew and sometimes we didn't know. The very first one was Sammy Davis Jr. Okay. And then
Wow.
we did have Jerry Lewis. We had Don Ho. We had Betty White. We had Colonel Klink. We had Lurch. We had Dick Clark. I mean, we had a man who's very famous, always played Santa Claus. We had all kinds of people. And we even had we had
The Green Hornet and
Kato,
Kate.
Green Hornet and Kato,
Well, Kato, yeah.
Bruce Lee and Van Williams. I mean, we had all. It was wonderful, and the
Great.
reason they did that is so many stars wanted to be on the show, and mainly why? Because their children were driving them crazy. Daddy, you gotta get on Batman. That's the coolest show. Why aren't you on Batman? Well, I don't know. I get it. You gotta get on Batman. You know, and so the producers were so inundated, right? That they said, okay, we got to create something where we can get more celebrities on, and that's what happened.
Wow.
Good. Great. Great.
All right.
Robert.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I could give you, well, I've got a list, but I'll go right for this, for the something new.
Yeah.
So you were in the CW series, The Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes, correct.
So it was really great. So 2 questions with that. How did that actually come about? And isn't it like gratifying to know now that your series, which once maligned, is now being looked at with great reverence?
Right.
And then
Well,
the second part of that is that your dog?
no,
black
it
dog?
wasn't my dog. No, and it's interesting because I thought, again, not knowing anything other than the fact that I was contacted and my agent called and said that Supergirl would like you to, do, a cameo on the show. You got to fly to Vancouver. That's where they film. And I had no idea what it was.
Right.
So I get there, and when I saw that they had a dog, I said, oh, they're probably doing this because of my dog rescue. But no, that's not the answer. You know what the answer was? And it was a German Shepherd.
Right.
Okay. Did you know that there was Ace the Bat Dog in the
Yes.
comic book?
Yep.
And that's why they had it. So I was walking Ace
Awesome.
the Bat Dog, and a great, wonderful dog, and a very easy course for me to handle. But it was just, and it was wonderful. But it's not that Batman was malaligned. No, what it is that people look back, and here's 55 years ago and say, oh, well, that's the old series and the old way of doing things.
Right.
But when we came out, we were far ahead of everybody. And to this day, think of it. Why do you have all these superhero movies? Because Batman was a
Batman.
success. And one last thing I want to tell you, a little tiny part of something to show how we affected all filmmaking. Now, when we were doing our show, in the middle of the most dangerous situation, we would have some kind of little comedy. Not that we laughed at, we thought it was serious, right? But there would be something comedic. Let me give you a quick example. There was a scene that Batman and Robin are in a warehouse and we're looking for the Joker. And all of a sudden, dropping down from we don't know where, 8 big henchmen, 8 of them, right? Big guys ready to fight us, right? And Batman says, Robin, and I say, Batman, gosh, Batman, there's 8 of them against 2 of us. Odds in our favor, because there was only 8 of them. I mean, if there'd been like 20, then maybe the odds would be in their favor. So what do you have in today's filmmaking? You have in the middle of the most dangerous moments in these, whether it be superheroes or how about Bad Boys, where they're talking together, the 2 police, and one of them will say, if we ever get out of this alive, I'm not coming over to your house for dinner. I mean, there's some comedic relief right in the middle of that. But that we created 55 years ago, and now you see it in movie after movie after movie because it works.
Yep.
Thank you, Burt, so much.
Thank you.
It's a blessing to have you here, and
Thank you.
congratulations on your star on the Walk of Fame.
Yes, thank you. I
Congratulations.
tell everybody, thank you very
Congratulations.
much. It only took 50 years. I am a patient person, right? I am patient, but 50 years is a fairly long time, don't you think?
And boy, I have to say, you have to, everybody, if you haven't been to the Hollywood Museum, go there and see all the,
It's great. I've been there.
I
yes.
I've
filmed
been there.
a YouTube video on the Batman exhibit
Yes,
a couple of years ago.
right.
Oh, I'd like to see
I
that.
did that with the museum owner. We talked about all this stuff. They really have a beautiful, they have a Batmobile. They have my original costume. They have all the villains' costumes. They have all the scripts. They have, I mean, it's just, it is really, it's fan. And plus they have every movie memorabilia from Gone with the Wind. I mean, it's all there in 4 floors of gigantic building. You could be there for weeks. It's great.
Yeah, it used to
Thank
be
you.
the Max Factor building.
Yes, it is. That's right. But thank you for the wonderful opportunity to visit with
Thank
you.
you.
I think it's time to say goodbye.
Yes.
And as
Bye.
we said on Batman, to the Batmobile.
To the Batmobile.
Take care. I'm going to check out for now. Thank you. I enjoyed speaking with all of you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
That was
Thank
great.
you, David,
That was
so
great.
much.
Yep, thank you, David.
Thank you so much.
David.
Pleasure. I'm glad you were all here. Thank you, Robert and Spencer and Gary and Katie and Matthew and Bill. It was great. There's your, Archie's Batman.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, and there's your DVD. And of course there's your, oh my,
Wait a minute. I have to hold them up like this.
oh, there you go.
Oh, no, wait a minute. No, I have to actually I have to hold them up underneath their characters. Maybe I'll get out of the way.
I love it.
Take a screenshot.
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 Wait, okay, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3.